Welcome everyone. We are the Kennedys. This is week 82, our 82nd
82.
consecutive
Wow.
week. And last week, if you were here with us, we presented a show of all 1960s era Greenwich Village folk music. And by the time we got to the end of the show, we realized we had just scratched the surface. So today we are presenting part 2. Now, if you're here for the first time, welcome. We do this every week, and all of our shows, all of them, are archived, so you can watch them whenever you want to. Maybe you're watching this in the archive now, for all I know. And if you're not subscribed to us, you'll find the YouTube channel subscription is below. If you're watching on YouTube, it's below here, or you can hit the subscribe button. You might see that on your computer. If you're watching on Facebook, there's some issues with the streaming quality there. We recommend YouTube. But we can see when we do this live, we can see all the comments from both YouTube and Facebook coming in. So, but come on over to YouTube. We have a really great community over there. And what else? Oh, please hit the like button. And if you haven't subscribed, I mentioned that, but also hit that bell. That way you'll get an alert whenever we post a new or schedule a new video. Right?
Yeah.
We ready to rock?
All the public service announcements.
Okay, so this week is going to be a little more complex than last week. Last week we played a lot of songs that were a little bit more familiar, although a number of people told me that they heard some songs for the first time last week, which is great because we love to turn people on to music that we think is really good that you might not have heard of.
I think of it like last week we were like in the virtual Gaslight Cafe.
Yeah.
Like the early 60s. And then this week we're in the virtual Folk City, which would be a little bit more mid 60s, as new people were, flocking into the village, and just so many great songwriters. It's impossible to cover them all, even in 2 episodes. But I think we've picked if not the cream of the crop, our favorites.
Nicholas over on Facebook says he likes my hat. I have a whole hat drawer.
We're all about the hats.
It's a village.
Greenwich
Bohemian.
Village. Yeah.
So we're digging a lot deeper this time. You'll hear some songs. In fact, we got a number of requests for songs that we didn't even know yet. So we learned some songs, and I love that aspect of doing the show for us. I know that we turn you on to music. You turn us on to new music too, new to us.
But we're going to start with a song that everybody knows.
Everybody knows it?
To sing along and play along, too.
If you're playing, I'm capoing on the 2nd fret and playing in the E position.
It's in G flat. I'm sorry.
No, it's not in G flat. It's in F sharp.
That's okay then.
Okay. And harmonic. 2, 3, 4. And ice cream castles in the air, and feather canyons everywhere. I've looked at clouds that way, but now they only block the sun. They rain and snow on everyone. So many things I would have done, but clouds got in my way. I've looked at clouds from both sides now, from up and down, and still somehow it's clouds illusions I recall. That's for Bill Worthington asked for that, and Sam and Bonnie and Elise Kane out in California. I think you're in
Written
California.
by
Written by Joni Mitchell.
Mitchell.
But that was the first recording of it. That Judy Collins did that first recording.
and it was a hit.
It was a hit. That's another sort of sub-theme of this show. Not necessarily hits, but some of these writers that are folk writers from Greenwich Village ended up having their songs covered by more pop acts. And so their reach got a little bit wider, and that's an example of that. All right, we got so many requests to do Phil Ochs. So we're going to do a Phil Ochs song.
Yeah. And this, I learned it from friends of mine, but we knew it as a song that Ian and Sylvia
Yeah.
sang. But it's just, Phil Ochs had such a gift for not only the lyrics, but melody too. And I think this song's a good example of that.
Ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. Sit by my side, come as close as the air, sharing a memory of gray, and wonder in my words, dream about the pictures that I play of changes. Green leaves of summer turn red in the fall, to brown and to yellow they fade, and then they have to die, trapped within the circle time parade of changes. Moments of magic will glow in the night. All fears of the forest are gone. But when the morning breaks, they're swept away by golden drops of dawn of changes. Passions will part to a strange melody, as fires will sometimes burn cold, like pebbles in the wind, where puppets to the silver strings of souls of changes. Tears will be trembling now we're somewhere else. One last cup of wine we will pour. I'll kiss you one more time and leave you on the rolling river shore of changes. Phil Ochs songs they're hard to sing though because of there's so many lyrics
Yeah.
and it's pretty complex. I mean they make sense, but it's just hard to, I don't know. It's a very hard thing to memorize a Phil Ochs song for me.
Let's send that one out to Sunny
Oh,
Oaks,
yeah, our
Phil's
friend
sister.
Sunny,
It's a
yeah.
dear friend of ours.
So as this pandemic just stretches on and on, we're always trying to think like, what can we do to help people in need? There's so many people in need of still are out of work and are food insecure and all that. And I was thinking about, like for us, since we're musicians, the best gift we can give is music, and we've been doing that every week for 82 weeks because these shows are always free. And we never expect people who are at all insecure in their income and food to contribute to this. We leave that up to those of you who can, because when you do that, you're not only helping us out, but you're helping out all the people who get to listen for free every week.
The whole community.
The whole community. So you can, if you go to our website, kennedysmusic.com, you'll see a tip jar right there on the right-hand side of the page. Just click that, and there's lots of different ways you can help keep this show going for us and for everybody. And that's your website there, kennedysmusic.com, and we thank you. All right. This song, here's another one of those songs that was written by a folk guy from Greenwich Village, but a lot of people covered this song, from Ramblin' Jack Elliott to Johnny Cash to...
Pop people did it too,
Pop,
like
yeah.
the Four Tops.
Four Tops
did a
did it.
Motown version.
Yeah.
I think maybe Bobby Darin might have done it. And
So
it's
many
just one of those kind of universal songs. It's by one of the Tims.
one of the Tims.
I get the Tims mixed up sometimes.
This one's Tim Hardin.
Yeah, he's got Tim Rose, Tim Buckley.
Tim Buckley.
But this one's Tim
Yeah,
Hardin.
Timbuktu.
If I were a carpenter, you were a lady, would you marry me anyway? Would you have my baby? If a tinker were my trade, will you still find me carrying the pots I made, following behind me? If I worked my hands in wood, would you still love me? Answer me, baby, yes I would. Place you high above me. If I were a miller at the mill wheel grinding, would you miss your pretty things and your soft shoes shining? Save my love through loneliness, save my love through sorrow. I've given you my loneliness, give me your tomorrow. Save my love through loneliness, save my love through sorrow. I've given you my loneliness, give me your tomorrow. If I were a carpenter, you were a lady, would you marry me anyway? Would you have my baby? Would you marry me anyway? Would you have my baby?
I love the modality of that song.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like it's a ballad, but that gives it an edge.
Yep.
This
All
is
right.
the flat seven, the Mixolydian note there.
Rick Williams. Rick Williams asked for this song. I don't know if he asked for this song, but he asked for this artist, these writers.
Oh, I'm going back to D.
Yeah, we're this song is one of the hardest hitting songs I have ever heard in my whole life.
Yeah. I thought Masters of War was hard hitting, but this makes it that like a walk in the park. But what a song, man! With it. Well, I don't want to explain it before we sing it, but
Listen.
yeah,
And take. Ready?
yeah.
I'll start out. show you blood on the stone, and I will be your mentor. The night will be our darling, and fear will be our name. It's hi-ho, hey, I am the bold marauder, and hi-ho, hey, I am the wet destroyer, for I will take you out by the hand and lead you to the hunter, and I will show you thunder and steel, and I will be your teacher, and we will dress in helmet and sword and dip our tongues in slaughter, and we will sing a warrior song and lift the praise of murder. And Christ will be our darling, and fear will be our name. It's hi-ho, hey, I am the bold marauder, and hi-ho, hey, I am the wet destroyer, for I will sour the winds on high, and I will soil the river, and I will burn the grain in the field, and I will be your mother. I will go to ravage and kill, and I will go to plunder, and I will take a fury to wife, and I will be your father. And death will be our darling, and fear will be our name. Richard and Mimi.
Man, Richard died right. I think it was right about the time his book "Been Down So Long It Looks Like Up to Me"
Right.
came out. He died in a motorcycle wreck out in California.
On Mimi's 22nd birthday.
Was it
Yeah,
really?
it was on her birthday. Yeah.
Man, they would have been a major force.
All right. We got a bunch of requests for this one. It's an Eric Andrew. Oh, that was Richard and Mimi Farina. We didn't say their full names. For those of you who might not
Oh
know.
yeah, Richard Mimi. Yeah.
This is a song by Eric Anderson, and a bunch of people asked for this. Greg Nash, David Hinkes. Whenever we do David's request, he cries. So have your tissues handy, David. And Sherry and Will Mahoney, all regular viewers. So we're going to do this one for all of you. And this is the song that I mentioned last week that I had been reading The Grapes of Wrath. I finished it. And so many of these songs, I think because they're folk songs, remind me of different scenes in that book. This one does, although I know it's not about Tom Joad walking down the road, getting out of prison. It's about, I think it was inspired by the Freedom Marchers.
Right. Yeah. I think it's a person up north welcoming back someone who has been down south, marching during the civil rights era. But like all of these songs, it's universal.
Right.
It's relevant to now too. That's the great thing about the songwriting in that period.
Nice and slow. 2, 3. I got my note. You've long been on the open road, just a sleeping in the rain. From dirty words and muddy cells, your clothes are smeared and stained. But the dirty words and muddy cells will soon be judged insane. So only stop to rest yourself till you are off again. So take off your thirsty boots and stay for a while. Your feet are hot and weary from a dusty mile, and maybe I can can make you laugh. Maybe I can try. I'm just looking for the evening, the morning in your eyes. So tell me of the ones you saw, just as far as you could see, across the plain from field to town, just a marching to be free. And of the rusty prison gates that tumbled by degree, like laughing children, one by one, they look like you and me. So take off your thirsty boots and stay for a while. Feet are hot and weary from a dusty mile. And maybe I can make you laugh. Maybe I can try. I'm just looking for the evening, the morning in your eyes. Come I know you are no stranger down that crooked rainbow trail, from dancing cliff edge, shattered sills of slandered shackled jails. For the voices drift up from below as the walls are being scaled. Yes, all of this and more, my friends, your song will not be failed. So take off your thirsty boots and stay for a while. Your feet are hot and weary from a dusty mile. And maybe I can make you laugh. Maybe I can try. I'm just looking for the evening, the morning in your eyes. You've long been on the open road, just a sleeping in the rain. From dirty words and muddy cells, your clothes are smeared and stained. But the dirty words and muddy cells will soon be held in shame. So only stop to rest yourself till you are off again. So take off your thirsty boots and stay for a while. Your feet are hot and weary from a dusty mile. And maybe I can make you laugh. Maybe I can try. I'm just looking for the evening, the morning in your eyes. I love that.
perfect
Gently
song.
rolling song there. Eric Anderson. Okay, now, you folks have really been keeping us on our toes because we get so many requests, and some of you don't get your requests into 20 minutes before the show. We're not going to do one of those, but we are going to do a request for Wayne. Wayne wrote maybe 3 days ago and suggested that we do this song. And this is one of those examples of I have never heard of that song. And I didn't know the artist either, I will admit, shamefully. But I looked up the song and I absolutely loved it. It's by an artist named Norma Tanega, who I guess, according to Wayne, passed away last year. She recently died. And the story about this song is she moved I think she was living out west, and she moved to Greenwich Village like so many musicians did back in that day. And she got an apartment and found out that they wouldn't allow dogs. You couldn't have a dog as a pet, but you were allowed to have a cat. So she bought a cat. She named her cat Dog, and she used to walk it around the neighborhood on a leash. And apparently she was allergic to Dog. She's not allergic to dogs, but she was allergic to her
The cat named Dog.
Named Dog. So we're going to send this one out to Wayne. This is a really fun song. Ready?
Yeah.
2, 3, 4. Walking all around the town, singing all the people down, talking around, talking around. Me and my cat named Dog, walking high against the fog, singing the sun, singing the sun. Happy, sad, and crazy wonder, choking up my mind with perpetual dreaming. Drifting up and down the street,
Drifting up and down the street.
searching for the sound of people swinging their feet, swinging their feet. Dog is a good old cat.
Dog is a good old cat.
People, what you think of that?
People, what you think
That's where
of
I'm at. That's where I'm at. Happy, sad, and crazy wonder, choking up my mind with perpetual dreaming. Dog is a good old cat.
Dog is a good old cat.
People, what you think of that?
People, what you think
That's where
of
I'm
that?
at. That's where I'm at. That's where I'm at.
That's such a cool song. It's,
I just picture her walking her cat on a leash through the East Village or the Greenwich Village.
and she was a visual art, a painter and stuff too.
Yeah.
And she lived in England for a while.
Yeah, she did,
And she
yes.
wrote a lot of songs for Dusty Springfield.
Yes.
She's just kind of one of those Renaissance people.
Yeah, so that one
And
was for Wayne.
the combination of being a Renaissance person and really quirky is great.
Now, last week we forgot to do a trivia contest.
Ah.
We've been doing trivia contests because it's sort of in honor of Pete's new book, which is called Floodwood. There it is, beautiful cover by Jen, our
Jen Lennox.
our weekly viewer. Very talented, isn't that beautiful? Floodwood. Anyways, so the winners of our trivia contests get a free audio version of that book, read by Pete, with some original music embedded in there. Okay, so that's the prize. Here's the trivia contest. Now, question, and I'm going to watch. Oh, you have to write down because we're going to get the third person.
Mm-hmm.
Can you write down the third person? All right. So I got to get my. Where are you? Oh, there we are. Okay. I'm looking at your comments. Now I can see YouTube and Facebook comments coming in. So the third person to answer this question correctly wins an audio version of Floodwood. Okay? Oh no, it's not the third person. I got that wrong. The first three people, all three get it. That's
there's
right.
three of
The
them.
first three, so there's three winners. Three. All right. Which of the previous artists that we played is somebody that we've actually recorded with? Go. And I know there's like a 30-second delay between when I speak and when you come in to me. So we're going to get ready to do another song. But Felton Mood is exempt from playing Yes because he keeps winning. That's over on Facebook. Oh, it's a contest music. I like that. Okay, anybody? Anybody? Who is the one artist? Nope, not Joni Mitchell. The one artist of the previous artists that we played so far that we have actually recorded with. Not Joni. Nancy Griffith. We didn't play Nancy Griffith yet today. Richard. Nope. No, he died when he was like in his early 20s, back in the 60s. Eric Anderson. Joshua, you win.
Joshua.
Joshua's number 1. Greg Nash is number 2. One more. Come on. Come on now. Oh, we got... And Tony Soul over on Facebook guest Eric Anderson. Tony Soll. All right.
Okay.
Congratulations to our winners. We will be in touch with you. You can go to our website to get our email address and just drop us an email so that we know how to get you. I think we know how to get a hold of Joshua and Greg. Tony, I'm not so sure of. So Tony, reach out to us and we will send you your free copy of the audio version of Floodwood. Congratulations. We'll do more of these contests until all of our free audio books are gone, and then we'll think of something else. Let me see if I can't get that off of there.
So yeah, we're on 2 of Eric Anderson's albums.
Yes, that's right. I should mention
that he recorded during the 90s. The first one I played, Eric is a great guitar, folk type guitar player, and I played the electric guitar stuff on The Street Was Always There, which is his. If you like this show, you would like that album because it's Eric's picks of his favorite songs from Greenwich Village in the 60s. And so I played on that, and then he did another compilation of the same type of thing, songs from that era. Yeah. And we're both on that.
Yes, that album's called Waves.
Yeah.
So we played on that too. So that is...
It was great to work with Eric. What a history.
Yeah.
Now this next song is from Greenwich Village in the mid-60s. And John Hammond Jr., the son of the great record label guy, is a terrific blues singer, and he's been doing it. He could cheat because he kind of had access to his dad's tapes and stuff like that. So he knew about Robert Johnson before anybody else. Anyway, he always has had great guitar players playing with him. Robbie Robertson and Mike Bloomfield and people like that. And back in around 1965 and 6, he was a regular at the Cafe Wah on Bleecker or McDougal, one of those.
Down there.
Whichever one it is in the village. And he had this great guitar player named Jimmy James who played left-handed. And there was a woman, I want to make sure credit gets given here because sometimes it's given to someone else, but there's a woman named Linda Keith who was really knowledgeable about all the music in the village. And she thought that he should emerge, Jimmy James should emerge as a real artist. And the Chaz Chandler, the bass player in the Animals, the group was breaking up and he wanted to find an artist to manage. And Linda Keith is the one who knew about Jimmy James and told Chaz to go down. She took him down to the Cafe Wah, and the rest is history. Jimmy James turned his last name back to his original name, Hendrix, and went over to England. And we're going to play a song that he wrote, one of his early songs, that it might surprise you, but it fits right into the whole folk village thing. And it's called May This Be Love. Waterfall, nothing can harm me at all. My worries seem so small with my waterfall. I can see my rainbow calling me through the misty breeze of my waterfall. Some people say daydreaming's for all the lazy-minded fools with nothing else to do. Well, let them laugh You know, one of the things I love about that song is that solo at the end is so melodic. It sounds like kind of like a flute or a penny whistle. And Hendrix, who was so advanced and could play all kinds of complex stuff, he played that solo. I saw him do it in 1968, all on the second string of the guitar. The whole, instead of going, all over the place, you just do this beautiful Irish sounding pentatonic scale. And it gets a different sound than if you plucked each note individually. It's just such a, and he did that when I saw him live. And that beginning slide part, like the waterfall.
Yeah.
He did that by putting the guitar up to the mic stand
Let's,
and sliding it along the, instead of doing a slide down the
here,
neck.
pretend this is the mic stand. You can
He
demonstrate.
just moved the guitar like, and then he started singing. It's just great. That's one of my favorite Hendrix songs.
Well, speaking of Hendrix, Hendrix was friends with Richie Havens.
Yeah.
Now, I need to make a correction from last week. I got
yeah.
corrected immediately. Last week we played the song Mornin' Mornin', and I said that it was a Richie Havens song that the Fugs covered, when in fact, Tuli Kupferberg of the Fugs wrote it and Richie Havens covered it. So I got it completely backwards. I gave credit to the wrong person. So I apologize for that. So now we're going to do a Richie Havens song.
And Richie did write this?
I hope to God he did.
If not, we'll find out.
What I found is that he wrote it, but hopefully my source was correct. And I love this because it's bossa nova, and I get to show off my this. I went to a tag sale last week, a whole tag sale in the city. I mean, in the town of Terrytown, and I got I saw this groovy '60s dress, and I thought I'm going to wear this for the Greenwich Village show.
I'm going to play the bossa nova guitar for this one too, the nylon.
This is the bossa nova moment. We haven't done a bossa nova moment in a while.
I know, yeah.
This is bossa nova time. Ready? And this is a Richie Havens song. Sandy made me promise not to tell, not a soul must know how well we love. Stars and moons and galaxies can't compare to how I see her eyes. She loves to live and lives to love happily. I give her love and take her love gratefully, gratefully. Stars and moons and galaxies can't compare to how I see her eyes. Oh,
Good percussion.
I love those groovy bossa novas. Yes. All right. Got my. Oh my gosh. Okay. So this one is another song. I know the writer. We actually know the writer personally.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't know the band that actually had a single, maybe even a minor hit with it.
Oh, it was it.
It was a big hit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And, you know, this is the thing. When you didn't grow up in the 60s, you get your 60s representation from oldies radio. And what I learned is that oldies radio, they rotate. They have like charts, like regular, like new radio has. So they rotate the same songs. You might have noticed this if you're listening to an oldies station. You hear the same songs over and over. And there are some songs that are just never on oldies radio. Mm-hmm. So this is a song I never heard. I never heard of the band before. And I absolutely love it because it's in the same genre as, say, the Mamas and the Papas, the Seekers, Spanky and Our Gang, that lush pop sound. And I mentioned that we know the writer. We have a really interesting and fun story about him as well.
We were on tour, driving back and forth across the country, as we have done for a long time now. And this is back, I don't know, maybe about 15 years ago. And we had come down from the Rockies onto the flat part of Colorado. We were heading back east. And we stopped for gas about 2 o'clock in the morning, probably. And as I got out to pump the gas in our, we had a van back then, another van pulled up on the other side of the pump, and the driver got out, and here we are at 2 o'clock in the morning in this desolate part of the plains. And I glanced over, and it was Steve Gillette pumping gas. Steve and Cindy Magson, they're a folk singing duo. They were traveling west, and we were traveling east, and we both stopped at the same gas pump at 2 o'clock in the morning. And we've been listening to a cassette book. Everything was cassette back then.
Was it
Sherlock
Sherlock
Holmes?
Yeah.
And we had just finished it, so I passed it along to them. So they probably listened to our Sherlock Holmes as they headed west, and we headed back east. But Steve, he wrote the song Darcy Farrow, which I'm sure we'll do sometime. But we're going to do a different one, which was actually a hit song for this group called the Sunshine Company. But Steve wrote this he was from California, but he wrote this during a kind of interim period when he was, of course, in Greenwich Village. It's just one of these great singing songs.
So I have to thank Ron Cabasco for hipping me to this song. It's like a great gift when you discover a song that you absolutely love, and this is one of those. Ready?
Yep. Here we go.
1, 2, 3. I'm back on the street again, gonna stand on my own 2 feet again, and I'm walking that beat again, remembering when, remembering when. Got a tear in my eye again, reminding me that I might cry again, feeling bad and wondering why again, remembering when, remembering when. Once I used to think that the world belonged to me, now it belongs to someone else. So I'm thinking of me again. That's the way it's gonna be again, till the day that I can breathe again, remembering when, remembering when. So I'm thinking of me again. That's the way it's gonna be again, till the day that I can breathe again, remembering when, I
love
that.
songs like that.
Thank you, Ron Cabasco.
Yeah, great request.
See, we have such a hip audience.
And so glad to play a Steve Gillette song.
I know,
He's
what a
one
great
of the.
guy.
He's such a gentleman.
yes,
wonderful
he is.
guy.
All right, now here's another one. I got a request for this song 20 minutes before the show started. But actually, I should say that Jim Hoffman requested this song in several different outlets. I think on Facebook and an email and on the chat here. So your request was received, noted, and another song. Now I know Buffy St. Marie's music, but I didn't know this song.
Yeah, it's
And
a
it's-
great song.
I'm going to tell you something. Why I connected so well with this song.
Yeah.
I'm listening to it when I first listened to it, and I thought, wow, if for those of you who read Pete's book, this is not a promotion for it. It's in my head because I read it so many times in the process of Pete writing it. But if this book ever gets made into a movie, this is the perfect song to go over the closing credits. It perfectly describes one of the main characters and all that he goes through. So I won't give it. No spoilers or anything. But this would be if this book ever gets made into a movie, this is it. Closing credits.
That's it. Okay.
So Jim Hoffman, thank you for hipping me to this song too. This is a great one.
It's a great song.
And you play the banjo.
Yeah.
Woo.
Buffy St. Marie's song.
I'm a rambler and a rover, and I wander it seems. I've traveled all over, chasing after my dreams. But a dream should come true, and a heart should be filled, and a life should be lived in the piney wood hills. I return to the woodlands, I'll return to the snow, I return to the hills and the valley below. I return like a poor man or a king if God wills, but I'm on my way home to the piney wood hills. I was raised on a song there, I done right and I done wrong there, and it's true I belong there, and it's true it's my home. From ocean to ocean I've rambled and roamed, and soon I'll return to my piney wood home. Maybe someday I'll find someone who will love as I love my piney wood hills. I was raised on a song there, and I done right and I done wrong there, and it's true I belong there, and it's true it's my home. I return to the woodlands, I'll return to the snow, I'll return to the hills and the valley below. I'll return as a poor man or a king if God wills, but I'm on my way home to the piney wood hills. I'm on my way home to the piney wood hills. That song gives me the shivers.
Great song.
It's such a great song. Thank you, Jim Hoffman.
Buffy St. Marie.
And Buffy, thank you, Buffy St. Marie, for writing such a
Great
great,
song.
Great song. All right. How are we doing for time? We're going to go over. We always go over, if you're new here, we always go over time, so that's okay. This next song is another example of a song that was written by a very folky person, but it got picked up by a very pop act, and
It was on the charts and stuff.
it was on the charts. And it's such a great song. And it's a song about the ecology.
Yeah, from early on.
And it was back when natural disaster was a possibility but not a probability like it is now, unfortunately. So this song has even deeper resonance these days, I think.
And it could also have a nuclear interpretation too.
and slash acid rain. This was written by Malvina Reynolds, and she wrote the song "Turnaround." I remember Nancy Griffith recorded that. She wrote the song "Little Boxes on a Hillside" that my grandma Lena used to sing. Little boxes on a hillside. We're not going to do that one. This one is a great song that the Searchers picked up and had a charting song with. What have they done to the rain? Just a little rain falling all around. The grass lifts its head to the heavenly sound. Just a little rain, just a little rain. What have they done to the rain? Just a little boy standing in the rain, the gentle rain that falls for years, and the grass is gone, the boy disappears, and the rain keeps falling like helpless tears. And what have they done to the rain? Just a little breeze out of the sky. The leaves nod their heads as the breeze blows by. Just a little breeze with some smoke in its eye. Oh, what have they done to the rain? Just a little boy standing in the rain, the gentle rain that falls for years, and the grass is gone, the boy disappears, and the rain keeps falling like helpless tears. And what have they done to the rain? What have they done to the rain? Yeah. Oh, my goodness. Stunning, some of these songs.
Yeah.
They're all stunning in their way.
And the timelessness of them
Yeah.
too. If they were written like now, they wouldn't sound out of date at all.
We have Jim Hoffman to thank for this next one too, and also Joe Belogi. Joe Belogi asked for a Dave Van Ronk song, and we had one all picked out. And then 20 minutes before the show time, Jim Hoffman suggested we do this one. Now it's not a Dave Van Ronk original. He sang a lot of folk songs, songs that had been around for many years. And this was one. This was a traditional song. The earliest known version of the song was called Shorty George.
It was a prison song,
Yep.
right?
Definitely. And then the first recorded version was recorded by was. Let's see if I get through. It was a performance by an African American inmate named Smith Casey, and that was recorded by the Lomaxes at Clemens State Farm in Brazoria County, Texas. And then Bob Dylan heard it and did a version, and then Dave Van Ronk, and it keeps morphing. Now, some of you folks, like Ricky 12-string, for example, will know a different version of this one.
The Byrds re-lyriced it to be about the JFK assassination, didn't they?
They re-lyriced it, and they kind of molded the melody too.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's so great about these traditional songs. There's so many, as time goes by, there's so many different versions of them. Like, for example, Matty Groves and Shady Grove.
Mm-hmm.
They're from the same source, but they're very different songs.
Right, the folk process.
Folk process. So this is for Joe Belogi and also Jim Hoffman, Dave Van Ronk's version of He Was a Friend of Mine.
Play along. If you got your guitar, ukulele, your bass, or violin, or whatever you got, it's in G. And then when we start singing, that's on a D chord, and you'll hear the rest of it after that. He was a friend of mine. He was a friend of mine. Never had no money or to pay his fine, but he was a friend of mine. He died on the road. He died on the road. Never had no money or to pay his board. He was a friend of mine. He never done no wrong. He never done no wrong. He was just a poor boy a long way from home. He was a friend of mine. I stole away and cried. I stole away and cried. I never had no money, and I can't be satisfied. He was a friend of mine. He was a friend of mine. He was a friend of mine. When I hear his name, you know I just can't keep from crying. He was a friend of mine. It's got that good gospel kind of groove to it.
Yeah, and it's got that great diminished chord.
The gospel chord there. It's like the gospel piano chord.
Yeah.
God, we're almost at the end of the show.
Oh, we're almost at the end. I want to show a photo though. One of y'all sent in a photo. Remember we had our 700th song contest a couple weeks ago, and the winner, whoever we picked the song to be the 700th song, and the winner got his or her choice of any three of our CDs that were still in print. And Mike Barker was our winner. And this week he sent me this picture. Check this out. There he is with the three CDs that he picked. He picked our first one, River of Fallen Stars, and Closer Than You Know, and Safe Until Tomorrow. And we autographed them for him. And he said that he loved all three of our records. He didn't have any of our records, and he's from the, as you can tell from the folk instruments there, he's from the traditional folk music.
It's got a hammered
world.
dulcimer and a band and a open back banjo.
And he said he loved our music. So we're so happy, and thank you so much, Mike, for sending that photo in.
I think next week we're going to, as like true folk musicians, you're on the road, taking the music elsewhere. And so I think we're going to depart from Greenwich Village, but we're going to keep the music going, and we're going to head up north across the border.
We're going up to Canada?
Yeah, let's
go to Canada.
Yeah.
Good. A lot of folks have been asking us for some Canadian music, so we're going to go up to Canada next week. We did some Canadian music here, so it's just like a little taste.
We're going to do a virtual folk circuit.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Okay, so Canada next.
Take it up across the border.
I know a lot of folks have asked for a Boston. We're gonna go around the world.
Yep.
At least around the English-speaking world, so that we don't have to learn too many songs in different languages.
So now I want you to get up out of your seat and do a little kind of strutting and dancing and stuff like that.
If you have a harmonica or a kazoo or a clay jug,
a washboard, you probably have one of those to for washing your clothes. And if you have a jug, you blow into the jug. Right.
Hint, hint. Ready? You don't need the glasses for this one.
Well, I was down in Savannah eating cream and bananas when the heat just made me faint. I began to get cross-eyed, I thought I was lost. I begun to see things as they ain't. As the relatives gathered to see what's the matter, the doctor came to see was I dying. And the doctor said, give him jug band music, it seems to make him feel just fine. Well, I was told a little tale about as skinny as a real 8-foot cowboy with a headache. Well, he was holed up in the desert swatting rats and trying to get a drink of water with his knees getting mud kicked. And I tell you in a sentence how he stumbled into Memphis, Tennessee, barely crawling, looking half-baked. We gave him a little water, a little bit of wine. He opened up his eyes, but they didn't seem to shine. And the doctor said, give him jug band music, it seems to make him feel just fine. So if you ever get sickly, get sister run quickly to the dusty closet shelf and pull out a washboard and strum a guitar chord and do a little do-it-yourself. Call on your neighbors to put down their labors and come and play the hardware in time. Cause the doctor said to give him jug band music, it seems to make him feel just fine. Well, I was floating in the ocean, greased with suntan lotion, when I got wiped out by a beach boy. He was surfing when he hit me, but jumped off his board to get me, and he grabbed me by the armpit like a child's toy. As we staggered into land with all the waiters eating sandwiches and tried to match a towel from the hoi polloi. He emptied out his eardrums, I emptied out mine. Everybody knows that the very last line is the doctor said, give him jug band music, it seems to make him feel just fine. Well, the doctor said, give him jug band music, it seems to make him feel just fine.
That's a fun way to end.
What a fun 2 weeks of great Greenwich Village music.
All right, everybody. Next week, we're going to sort of stay in the, well, not totally in the folk world, because there's a lot of music of all genres that come out of Canada. We're going to do all Canadian music next week. Yay. And put on your sweaters and your little earmuffs, because it's cold up yonder. And thank you all so much for joining us. We have fun doing this every week.
We love getting together with you guys.
We love it.
Our community.
It's the highlight of our week. So thank you all for being here. Take care of yourselves. Mask up. Get that booster when you can. And I certainly hope you all have gotten your vaccines. Very, very important. We love you, and we want you to stay safe. Take care of yourselves and your families and your friends. See you next week.